Hey, Soldier7 here, and this video I wanted to talk about another Sony franchise, and that is the Pursuit Force franchise. Even though some people may say it's not really a franchise, well, maybe not, because there was really only 2 games for them back in the day for the PSP. But nevertheless, that's what I'm going to talk about and ask a certain question of whether or not if it's got potential. Now, apparently, as you know, for those of you who may know, in the previous year, both games were released for the PlayStation Classics for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, and I managed to play both of them, and I thought that they were interesting games. It was the first time I ever played them. I did hear about them back in the day. I did look them up back in the day, but I never really played them because I was never really big on the PSP, even though I did have one at one point. But I never got around to playing them. But it seems like it's an interesting concept for a game where it's a pursuit force. You play as a cop. You go around chasing. You know, you're pursuing all types of people from criminal organizations to terrorist organizations and so what. So, in a way, the storylines is kind of goofy, but it is kind of interesting. And not only that, although I will admit it is challenging, the kind of downside I thought is that at times I felt like the game was a little too hard, to where it sometimes felt like I only beat a certain level because of luck and so forth. Especially with the first one, even though I think the first one had a better storyline, but it was pretty difficult at times. But nevertheless, if you put aside all the hard stuff, I managed to have a little fun with it. And the sequel, not as an interesting storyline, but it was a little more fun to play. Not just because it was easier, because it just felt like it just gave you more stuff to do. Even if it didn't, if it was just the same as the first, but it just felt like it gave you more to do. And you were able to upgrade your weapons and so forth and do all this kind of stuff. Not that you couldn't do that and do some of that in the previous game, but it just seemed like they were able to give you a little bit more, which I thought was, I thought it was a little more well balanced. Yeah, the storyline in the sequel was not as good, but the gameplay and everything I thought was a little more better. And yeah, a little more easier, but just all in all, a little more better. Even if the game was harder, at least the gameplay alone felt a little more better. And I just think it was a cool concept. You're either chasing them through sea, air, land. Sometimes a lot of times you're mostly just doing it in a vehicle in both games, but then you also have certain occasions where you chase them on foot and you run and gun, and then sometimes you gotta knock them down or whatnot in both games, but also you have to fight like these weird boss fights and whatnot, and then sometimes you also have I guess you would say, a sniper level or whatnot. And it was pretty interesting. So I guess, not to get off topic, I don't want to make this video too long, but the question is that does this have potential? Potential for another sequel, even though it's been a long time, like 17 years and so forth and so what. I don't know. I feel like that this game did have potential to maybe go a little further with a franchise. And I don't know. Even though it's been a long time since the last one was released, 2007, I think. I don't know. I just felt like when I played it, I felt like there was some potential. And that's something I just wanted to ask. Does the game or the franchise, does it got potential? That's what I wanted to ask. The comments are open. Please do tell. That's all I'm going to say for right now. This is Soldier7. Take care.